They want to file for a petition for adoption. Is there a limit to age for the parents? And
yeah, you have to be over 25 to adopt, and the children have to be under 16.
And is there any special rules for them adopting in Nigeria?
The special rule is the child has to be an orphan, okay? And you can't orphan a child by getting consent by the parents. So you have to show that the child's been abandoned or the parents are dead, and then have the authority strip the parents of their parental rights if they're alive.
And is there, what ways can you actually show the abandonment?
Mom lives in city A, child lives in city B, child lives on the opposite side of the city with the aunt. They don't live together. Mom has no contact with this child. Mom could care less about this child. Dad disappeared to another country 20 years ago. There is no mom, there is no dad. The aunt is taking care of the child. I'm just giving that as an example.
Right.
Tiana says, I filed the I-130 for my husband in 2017 while I was a green card holder. And in September of 2018, we sent in the I-485 and the I-765. My husband went for his fingerprints in October, and since then we haven't received anything. No work permit. We've called them several times. They say we just have to wait. Yesterday I called USCIS and asked to speak to a level 2 officer, and they said they're waiting for security clearance. How long does that take, and what's going on?
I don't know what's going on, but he should have got a work permit, and you can speak to all the people you want, and you're going to get stonewalled. So your choices are sit on your hands or file a mandamus. And we talk about that all the time.
All right, Sammy Walker says, I filed my case in January and I'm already been called for an interview. Can you explain what's going on with that for me?
Yeah, it's called last in, first out.
So we were talking about
we talked about that also. So that the people who are filing now are getting called for interviews quicker than people who filed in 2018.
What is the
rationale behind
the rationale behind that? Like, that makes no sense. So, like, is it them just
they don't want
with people?
They don't want to have a bigger backlog of people. Right. And also now, because of this big backlog, people are getting their green cards after their second year of marriage. A lot of people, and therefore they only have to go for one interview, and they want people to go for 2 interviews.
Got you.
Jennifer Jackson said, is it possible for a granddaughter to file for her grandmother?
No.
My name is Solomon, and my wife sent a question in to you about how we're still waiting for our I-130 to be approved. We filed it in June 4th, 2018. You said to her that she should file a mandamus or something. Can you explain what you meant by that? Again, we have already filed outside the normal processing time from the USCIS, and they haven't responded.
All right, so this is what the situation is. If you file an adjustment, that means a green card is immediately available to you. Immediate means like in 6 months, but certainly not more than 12 months. And if you're waiting more than 12 months for something that's immediately available to you, the government is either negligently or purposely delaying your green card. A delayed green card is a green card that is denied as far as I'm concerned. So you have two choices when they're delaying something that you have immediate access to, which is your green card. You should get it immediately. That's why they call it immediate relative. That's why they said you can file an adjustment when a green card is immediately available to you. The word immediate has a meaning to it. And if more than 12 months, there's nobody who could argue that that's immediate. So you have two choices. You can call up immigration and say, hi, I want to know what happened to my immediately available green card. And they'll say, well, security checks, ma'am. We'll get back in touch with you. Could I speak to level 2? Yes, level 2 on the phone. Hi, how are you? Security checks, ma'am. I'll get back to you. And you can get really frustrated. And then you could say, you know what? I'm going to go to my congressman because I vote for my congressman. I vote for my senator. And my congressman and senator, they're going to get to the bottom of it. But guess what? Your congressman and senator have no authority with the Department of Homeland Security. You know who does? Only the President of the United States. So unless you know the President of the United States, congressmen and senators have nothing to do with the Department of Homeland Security. So you're going to meet with the congressman's assistant, and they're going to say, yes, we feel very bad for you. We're going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to write them a letter. And the congressman or senator writes them a letter. And then 3 months later, you get back, requesting security checks. We'll get back to you shortly. And that's what they're going to say to you. And you just go around in a circle and a circle and a circle. Meanwhile, the government is infringing on your rights. They are violating your rights. They're violating their own rules by not giving you a green card, or your spouse a green card, or your family member a green card. So the only thing that you can do that actually works is you file a mandamus. A mandamus is a federal litigation against the government that says they are not doing their job. Their job is to process a green card in a reasonable amount of time because I am immediately eligible for my green card. And they're not doing it. And then a federal judge will order the Department of Homeland Security to issue a decision on your case, thumbs up or thumbs down. Now, what generally happens is in cases that are blatantly in error by the Department of Homeland Security, where you're immediately eligible, there is no issue, you're going to get a call from the U.S. Attorney's Office, or your attorney will, and they'll probably say something to the effect of, if you give me 90 days and we'll make this lawsuit go away, I promise you a decision. And that's usually what happens. So you either take matters into your own hand. In this day and age, I read an article, Donald Trump in his lifetime has been part of over 5,000 different litigations in his lifetime. You think he doesn't care about going, he could care less. Litigation. Make it 5,001, make it 5,002. I mean, you're not suing him personally, but that's how you get things done these days, unfortunately.
We've got a question from Abu, who said, does USCIS check social media messages even if it was deleted? Because my spouse is accusing me that I'm cheating on her.
It's possible. I believe that the U.S. government can see everything.
I agree. All right, Madame says, can I apply for a green card even if I have a new spouse? I entered here for a K-1 visa, but I got divorced before applying the green card for my ex-husband.
On a K-1, there's something called Matter of Sesay. Matter of Sesay says that if you came on a K-1 visa and you got married within the 90 days, the fact that you entered on a K-1 visa and the marriage occurred entitles you to a green card whether or not that marriage broke up or not. Now, the problem with Matter of Sesay under Donald Trump is they're saying, well, even though you're entitled to your green card, the law still says you need an affidavit of support from your spouse, so who brought you in on the K-1. So hopefully, under the law right now, your spouse gave an I-864 affidavit of support and filed your adjustment, or you have one prepared by your spouse, or your spouse is still willing to provide one even though the marriage broke up. Even if you got divorced, then you can get your green card. Other than that, through your new spouse, you would have to do a provisional waiver, go home and come back.
Joanne said, can my husband file the I-212 and the I-601 get denied?
Of course it can get denied. Those are waivers. Not every waiver gets approved. Of course it can be denied.
Okay, Joan says, Brad, can a person with DACA renew and how?
File the I-824, whatever the form is. I forget form numbers all the time, but you file the renewal for the DACA. I think it's an I-82 something or other.
Okay.
Or you can look it up on
And you can
USCIS.
renew now.
Of course you can.
How long does it take to get a case transferred from the National Benefit Center to the Vermont Service Center for a spouse's green card?
How long is this person's green card going to take? Magic 8 Ball. Is it going to take more than a year? Just Magic 8 Ball says the outlook is good for the green card.
Oh, great,
that's
great.
good.
That's all I can tell you. I don't know how long
When
it's
a
going to
magic
take.
8 ball is at your side, what more do you need?
I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know what you did. I don't know what's going on with your case. Don't have the slightest idea.
Yeah.
Isha says, how long does it take USCIS to approve the I-508?
The I-508.
Yes.
The I-508. Is the I-508, is that the waiver if you came on a diplomatic visa?
Request for waiver of certain rights, privileges?
I think
Diplomatic,
that's
yes.
Diplomatic
Yes.
waiver, right?
Diplomatic
Okay, I was trying to
rights,
remember
yes.
what that was. Yes.
That is.
At least 6 months. What happens for those who don't know? If you come on an A or a G visa, you have diplomatic immunity. If you remember Lethal Weapon 2 or 3, when the South Africans kept killing people, and he kept going to Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Diplomatic immunity. You don't remember that?
I'm not quite familiar with
You're
Lethal
not on
Weapons
top
enough.
of Lethal Weapon?
No.
No?
All right. So if you have diplomatic immunity, you need to get the waiver for that diplomatic immunity. That's what that form is for.
We've got a question from Ken Kibbett, who said, I filed a VAWA under abuse and separated from my spouse. Now I'm following your advice and knowing I have rights, I went further to family court for my kids because she's been controlling and keeping my kids away from me, and she enjoys that quite a bit. So interestingly, she turned the tables saying that I'm the abuser, and we have a court date set for the 23rd. Any advice? I do have a lawyer, and in addition, I'm dealing with a narcissist. She's trying to show that she's a U.S. citizen and I'm an immigrant. She can dictate our custody situation, even though that makes me look bad, even if it's untrue.
Well, the truth hopefully will prevail, and hopefully you have a good lawyer who's going to family court with you. The fact that you're an immigrant, the fact that she's a citizen, doesn't really matter. What matters is what you got to prove when you go to family court. And I'm not a family court attorney, but I know this much. It's whatever's in the best interest of the child. It's not that she's an American and you're not.
Jamana says, I married a U.S. citizen after my 2-year green card, applied the 10-year green card, and I got one letter, is the I-797 18-month notice of action. Can I apply for, a citizenship? I already spent 3 years with a U.S. citizen.
If you have your pending I-751 and you've had a green card for more than 3 years and they have not approved your permanent resident card, you absolutely could file your N-400, and hopefully at your N-400 interview they will interview you both for citizenship and to remove the conditions of your green card.
Isha said, we have filed and mailed the I-130 and I-45, but we have not yet received a response from USCIS, and we've received no receipt. What should we do?
How long has it been?
We don't know.
Well, if it was yesterday, I think you got to give them some time. But if it's been 3 years, I think you got a problem. So if you feel that you didn't get a receipt and you have no reply, the first step is to go check your filing fee. Was that check cashed? Was that money order cashed? Go track that filing fee check, that money order check down. Because if it was cashed, then you know they have it. And then what they generally do is they write the case number on the check, so now you know your case number to follow up with immigration.
If NVC got my I-130 approval and my husband is under expedite removal since 2012 for coming illegally, what is next?
Who's under indictment?
The husband.
Well, if he came illegally because he re-entered after a prior deportation, what's next is he's getting deported again. A good lawyer.
And finally, we've got First Lady Hewitt, who said, Brad, my grandmother filed for my mom and my brother in 2013, and now it's time to pay the visa fees. Once the fees are paid, what's next, and how long after will it actually take my mom and brother to be here?
What's next is affidavits of support. I don't know how affidavits of support. I don't know what the priority date is on mom and brother's case, so I can't tell you how long it will be. But usually when you pay the fee bills, they're a year away or less. Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.